So I often don't do first impression videos on the channel. Usually I either wear the watch or I do an unboxing and then do a sort of review slash unboxing. Today I have a watch that literally just came in. This is Linde Werdelin. This is the 3-timer. It's a brand that I've always had on my radar. I really love the look of their watches. I love the style of their watches and of course the construction of their watches. And I got one in for review. I'm super excited. Linde Werdelin actually lent me this watch, and it is an awesome colorway. So it comes in a different box. This is a sort of travel box for the prototype that they use for reviews. Also, I believe you probably will get this sort of box if you do any sort of service with them. So not the box that you actually get, but it is actually a really nice box. It's just a little leather box with sort of a folding thing, and there's like 2 tabs over here that hold it closed. Inside is the watch. So this is the Nord colorway, which is a sort of fume dial that has a dark blue around the edge, and then it goes to a dark blue towards the center. I wouldn't say it's a light blue, it's more of a dark blue towards the center as well. This is a GMT, that's why it's called a 3-timer, so you do get an ETA movement in here. It is a 2893, and then you can see the extra hour hand right there. And this gets a bi-directional rotating bezel, so it is a 24-hour bezel. And that's the reason why it is a 3-timer. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Linde Werdelin, the reason why the case looks this way is because it was originally designed to be used with either a dive computer or a ski computer, because these were sort of inspired by the owners of the brand, and they were into skiing and diving, and they liked the idea of a modern watch, a watch like a dive computer, but they really wanted something that they could wear day to day that's capable of doing the same thing as their dive computer. So it was something that would be able to be used as a dive watch or be able to use while you're skiing. However, they would like to be able to put something on top of it to make it more robust. So this, or not more robust, more useful really. So this would actually be fitted with one of those computers. Pretty cool. I don't believe they actually make those anymore. You can see this is actually a pretty thin watch, 300 meters of water resistance, I believe, on this as well. So pretty thin. It's, I think, a limited edition of 33. I think all of their watches are very limited editions. This normally would not come on this bracelet. I specifically asked for them to send one of their bracelets so we could see it. I think the bracelets on these watches are phenomenal. And I mean, literally one of the coolest, one of the weirdest bracelets that you're ever going to see. It wears like a cuff. Now, I'm actually pretty familiar with the watch. I've never owned a Linde Werdelin. However, I've always been about one click away from buying one. And after wearing this just for literally just a few minutes, I already found myself on their website looking at prices and thinking and starting to think about what watch I want to sell in order to buy one of these. This is really cool. Now, I often talk about, AP alternatives. I think that's what they were going for here. Even the brand owners will say that this was sort of meant to be, an AP alternative, but they didn't do something that was cheap. They didn't do something that was sort of an homage to it. They made a very, very original design, very angular design, very industrial design, especially when you have it on this bracelet. And it stands on its own. In my opinion, it does not look like a AP Royal Oak. It definitely stands on its own. It does have a textured dial. It radiates from the center. It's sort of like a hobnail pattern, but it's not really. It's got its own flair, it's got its own look, and I think it looks phenomenal. And I've always really admired these watches. Now, they do wear large because of these extra sort of crown protectors slash functional, attachment areas for those dive computers, as I was talking about. It does come out to 46 millimeters, but it does not wear like a 46 millimeter, and we'll look at that in just a minute. And then it is thin, so that does help to actually, make it feel a little bit smaller on the wrist. So 12.6 millimeters. and it actually sits really well and low on the wrist. There's a huge taper to the bracelet, which I love. Look at that. It's one of my favorite things, a very tapered bracelet I really love. So it's like 32 millimeters at the lugs, and it goes all the way down to around 21. So awesome, really awesome. Obviously, you could only use their straps. There's like a little strap system here. You have these Allen keys that you have to unscrew to actually use it. But anyway, listen, I'm going to be doing a complete full review on this. And we will do, close-ups and macros and all of that. I just wanted to show it to you guys. And then we will come back to this later on after a few weeks, after I've done a really thorough review of this watch. Because, like I've said a few times, I'm a big fan of this brand, and I hope it lives up to my expectations. Because I really do enjoy it. Basically, the entire watch is bead blasted, as you can see. Very big lug span here, obviously, because it wears like a cuff. However, I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and I can't even get, it's like 60 something millimeters on this watch. However, it does curve down a lot, as you can see. So it doesn't wear that big on my wrist. I'm going to show it to you on my wrist really quickly, and then we're going to wrap up the video. I'll talk about price momentarily, but the price isn't the most important thing here, and I'll get into the reasons why I say that in just a minute. So today I have my Vacheron on. This is my Vacheron Overseas World Timer. This is a 43 millimeter watch, and you're going to see when I put it side by side with the Linde Werdelin, you're going to see that it does not look that much bigger than my Vacheron. In fact, the Vacheron might even look a little bit wider, but it's not. It isn't. So it's sort of an illusion they've done with this case, and I think they've done a really good job with that. You could also see the lug to lug on the Vacheron is actually smaller than the Linde Werdelin, and that's because of the bracelet. The bracelet actually does taper down a little bit further, closer to the case, whereas this tapers down further away from the case. But when you do get it on the wrist, and if you have, I think you need to have at least maybe, a 7-inch wrist, maybe a little bit smaller than can pull this off. But because of that, that sort of, on the bracelet at least, that cuff effect that you're getting, you need to have a larger wrist to wear the bracelet. On the strap, obviously, it will work a lot better. But there it is on my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it looks really good. I really do like this watch a lot. I really love the dial. I love the bead blasting, the way it looks. It looks like something out of a sci-fi movie / AP Royal Oak, right? That's kind of what it looks like to me, and it's actually well made. It really does fit beautifully together, and you look at that that sort of almost like, I don't know, like armadillo scales on this bracelet. It just fits perfectly together, and it forms to the wrist really nice. This is a cool watch. It does have an ETA 2893. We'll talk about that in a later video when we do a full review. But that's it. So I believe this watch costs around $7,000. It's around $7,400. That is a lot of money. But again, I think there is a reason why it costs that much. I'll get into that in a later video as well. I don't think it's really important at this moment. I want to wear it for a little while, and then I will make my sort of final judgment on that. Very quickly, though, let's do a quick loom shot. Why not? Just a few seconds just to see how the loom is. The loom, I don't think, is going to be great on here. I'm not sure, but we're going to check it out because you do have very small indices. The look of this is very small. On earlier models of the 2-timer, they had larger indices, so I think the loom was actually decent. Let's see. I don't know for sure, so we're going to check it out, and then we'll wrap up the video. So the loom isn't terrible. It's not going to blow your socks off, as I always say, but you do get actually 2 different tones here. I think it's Super Luminova. It's sort of a minty green, and then you have a little bit of an orange tinge on that GMT hand. Unfortunately, they did not loom the second hand, so you do not get that effect of actually seeing the running seconds at night. Indices are very small. They are decently applied with Loom. I wouldn't say very liberally applied with Loom, but they are decently applied with Loom. So definitely a watch that you could probably see in the dark for a little while and then it will fade. I don't know. They're an independent brand for sure. I don't think they are a micro brand. A lot of people might categorize them as a micro brand. I would not. There's huge differences between a micro brand and something like this. This is from an independent watchmaker, Swiss made, and I think there's a big difference between this and what micro brands are out there. This is pretty original design, and some of the watches they make other than this are phenomenal. And I think this is pretty phenomenal in my opinion. My first impressions are, I opened up this box and I was blown away at how good looking I thought it was. You might think it's ugly, but I really don't. I really think it's good looking. But listen, I'll do a full review on this within the next coming weeks. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. What you think of this watch? What do you think of the brand? What do you think about them using an ETA 2893? That's a very good question, because I would like to, hear what you guys think about that as well. I'll reserve my opinion until I've worn it for a little while. So tell me what you guys think. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra or interrupt your Prime benefits. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.